Hey guys, we're back in the garage, and today's project is to finally get the upper doors on. A couple of weeks behind schedule on what I had planned to do on that, but that's what's coming up today. Got all the parts and everything, got the instructions laid out. Just got to get, basically take the door apart and get everything on. So that's the plan for today. Something else I wanted to kind of give a heads up on that's going to be coming up is I bought some of these, they're solder and seal connectors. And you can see I've already put them in my regular case here. Basically what this is, this has a little piece of solder in it, and you put in, strip your wires, put the wires in, and then when you melt this down, the solder actually melts into the wires. So this was something that I'd seen on some videos. Lawson had bought some, they seem to work fairly well. So I'm gonna be trying those out shortly. Thought those might come in handy and make a nice connection instead of just using the classic butt style connector where you just crimp it. And I usually do use shrink wrap when I do those, but this should be interesting. I'm gonna try it out and see if I like it. I got this off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below about that. Also sold off my daughter's car. Got her a newer car, and so I've got a backup camera. I'm gonna be doing a radio in that. Putting in some USB ports for charging. All right, guys, I've got the passenger side door panel taken off. I thought I'd just pause for just a brief moment to show you what it looks like on the inside if you've never seen it. A couple of interesting things. One is the way that the routing is done for the door latch. There have been some folks online, this is just plastic right here, talking about how this breaks really easily. There's some folks that are now making this out of, I think, cast aluminum is what they're using. But what's interesting here is the routing. If you look at how this is done, so this comes in, basically goes up, over, and then down. And then you've got the outside handle, which goes up, around, down, and then it also loops and joins in with this cable here. If you ask me, really convoluted. I've seen some folks that have broken this, or I actually had early on this popped off, and I just had to basically pop open the back of the door panel and pop this back on. No big deal to fix it. But when you look at, okay, this is right here, this is right here, from an engineering perspective, you do kind of ask the question, why wouldn't you shift the door handle back slightly and just put a solid linkage between these two? Even right here, you probably could bend a piece of metal and come off with a direct link between those two rather than doing something with cable. Just an idea went through my mind. I thought I'd share it with you guys. As far as the removal of the panel, very easy to do, of course. Just have screws and then the panel just pops right off. There are a couple of retaining clips, like this clip right here. The panel sits, it's this one. The panel sits in behind here. There's one on the bottom as well. You just give it a little tug and this will not give way, but the panel will just kind of slide out. So anyway, the next step in the instructions is to remove the outer panel, which is, I believe, these screws right here. I'll have to look on the instructions, but I got to remove this piece as well. All right, guys, another quick update. I've got the outer door panel removed, and part of that is to remove the door handle. No big deal, just two screws there. So no issues getting that removed. Also, the next step was to go ahead and install the plastic trim piece that covers up the gap right here. Actually really simple to do. You pull out this push pin, and then there is a little piece right here that kind of goes in and helps keep it in place down here at the bottom, just to snug it up. And then there is right here, you can see that white piece right there. This is the piece for the other side. That's just a piece of 3M tape and double-sided tape that's already on the plastic piece, and then that's just there to keep it up here. And it'll be interesting to see how well that tape holds up. I think it'll probably hold up well, but if it doesn't, you can always replace it. You could also, too, do just a self-tapper. This is a hollow tube here, just a small little hole with a self-tap screw. That would also work as well. And you know, there's a couple of different ways to do it, but this is actually, when you get this piece of plastic, it actually, to tell you the truth, it feels flimsy, but once you get it in place, it actually is nice and solid. Good quality construction. Very pleased with that. So anyway, we're moving along just to kind of look and see what's coming up next in the instructions. Next, we got to do some stuff with the hinges, and this is in preparation for getting the front bracket. The front bracket that we have is going to mount over here, and then I think the rear bracket mounts over here. These are factory holes here, I believe, for the factory upper doors. I think the factory upper doors actually use these three brackets. I'm not 100% certain on that. If you've got the factory doors, please feel free to comment. But I know that the spike doors that I have are going to use this bracket, and I think it's this bracket here. I don't think it uses the rear one. But that's what's coming up next, and stay tuned for more. All right, guys, we have got the passenger door almost done, actually. Got the doors, or the brackets mounted, got the panel sitting in place. So just a couple of notes. Overall, the fit is pretty good. You can see here. Looks like everything is sealed really nice and tight against the body. So let me open the door here, just kind of show you. And you can see how the bracket is. Again, this is passenger side. You've got the fender washer, which goes against the casting. And then on the inside against the bracket, you actually have a smaller washer to cover up the slots. And on the front, the bottom two holes are part of the hinge, and this is where marking your hinge comes into play, so that when you put everything back together, you get the door back in the same place. And then it has one hole here. You will see there is a factory kind of, I don't know what you call this, like a joint washer or something, but anyway, that goes on the outside here, so this sits flush against the casting. So no real big deal there. Again, everything looks like it's sealing well. Go ahead and close it. What happens is when you do close it, because the door is designed to kind of lean inwards just slightly, and that's so that you do get a good seal. And you can see what happens is when it closes, it actually kind of pulls in against the frame, or against the roll cage. So it does look like everything is good. I'm going to go ahead and button up this side of the machine, and be sure that I don't need to do any further adjustments by taking the frame on or off. And in fact, you can see here, it does slide up well. Tell you what, let me pull it up just like that. Yeah, so I think the brackets themselves are in a good position. I don't think I need to make any further adjustments on those. The only thing I'll have to do is, once I get the actual body back on, you have to drill the holes in the top, which should be no big deal. So anyway, looks good. I'm really pleased with that. I would say total time elapsed on doing this, gosh, maybe 15 minutes or so. It's very quick. If I wasn't pausing to do the videos, I would say I could probably do a door in about 30 to 40 minutes at the absolute most. And this is basic wrench turning skills, using standard tools. The only thing special, if you want to call it that, is the Torx head screws. But if you're working on these machines, you're going to need a good set of Torx bits anyway. That's really it for right now. So I'm going to keep on this. I'll check back in once I got the doors put in place, and we get the holes drilled, and I get the final product going.